So good morning again, everyone, and welcome to our HKIMO pala. HKIMO Mac Finance for Primary 6. So I think you were able to receive in your email the Mac paper and also the solution manual for this session. So for this session, we will only discuss um, how this solution manual arrive at those answers and those solutions. So that's why we have this lecture. Okay, so let's start. So house rules. So I hope that you mute your microphones at all times. And if you have questions, you may raise your hands. Do not annotate. And if it's possible, turn on your camera. And lastly, I hope that you will listen well. So since this is a mock exam, some of the problems may repeat on the exam proper. So that would be an edge for you because you'll be able to solve it easier because you already know how to solve it. Okay. So number one. Okay. Given A and B are two non-zero digits and two-digit numbers formed by these two digits have the following properties. AB is divisible by 8, so meaning it is a what? A multiple of 8. Okay? And BA is a prime number and is greater than 50. Okay? So since this is only two-digit numbers, okay, so the number of multiples of 8 can be listed directly and easily, right? So this is two-digit number, okay? So that's 16, 24, 32. The next one should be 40, right? 48, 56. Then the next one would be 64, 72, 80, 88, and 96. Now, the second condition is BA is prime number and is greater than 50. So if we interchange that ones and tens digit, it should be a prime number. So someone said the answer should be 16. So let's check if that's correct. Okay. So if we interchange this, the number should be a prime number. So most prime numbers are odd numbers, right? So we will only check the numbers or the tens digit with an odd number. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and then this one. And then check if they are a prime number, if we interchange them. So 16, we interchange that, it should be 61. 32, we interchange, that's 23. 56, that's 65. 72, that's 27. And 96 should be 69. So which one here is a prime number? So the prime numbers here are only 61 and 23. Now, we need to consider the condition where the number should be greater than 50. So the only possible here is 61. So the answer should be 16, and that should be the correct answer. So yes, the answer is 16. So thank you for sharing your answer in the chat box. Okay. So any questions regarding this problem? So that's how you solve for this kind of problem, especially if it is only two-digit numbers. Okay. So number 2. So Amy's walking speed is 5 meters per second. She walks from to the shopping mall and from shopping mall in 6 minutes. Meaning, from Amy's home, let's say H, and then mall, let's say M, it took Amy to the mall and then to go back to her home in 6 minutes, right? which means that the total this time Amy took when going from her home to the mall, half of this time. Okay, so that should be 3 minutes, right? Am I correct? So now we know that we have a total, I mean, a speed of 5 meters per second, right? So speed is just equal to distance over time. So now we need to get the distance. Okay? So how do we solve for distance? So we just multiply time and then the speed, right? So distance is equal to time times speed. So since this is 3 minutes, we need to convert it into what? We need to convert this into seconds. Okay? So 180, right? 180 seconds. 3 minutes is equal to 180 seconds. Why? Because we have in 1 minute, we have how many seconds? That's 60. Okay? So 180 times 5. So 5 because we have 5 meters per second. Okay, someone answered 900 meters. So let's check. So the total distance is then equal to 180 times 5 or 900. So that's the correct answer. Again, thank you for sharing your answer in the chat box. So there's actually no need to put units here. However, you can also put the units if you want. They will check your paper manually. So yeah. However, there's no need really to put a unit. So the answer should be 900. Okay. So any questions regarding this problem? So if none, we'll proceed to number 3. Okay. Ming's age this year adds to multiplies. They should be multiplies. Multiplies 25, minuses 75, and then divides by 8. The result would be 25 years old. How old is Ming this year? So how do we solve this? So to solve this, we need to do it backwards. Okay. So division will become multiplication. Subtraction will become addition. Multiplication will become division. And then addition will become subtraction. Okay. So let's start with 25. Since it is stated that it was divided by 8, so we need to multiply this by 8. Okay. 25 times 8, that's 200. Now, it is said that we subtracted 75. So we need to add 75. So 200 plus 75, that's equal to 275. And then multiplies 25. So we need to, again, opposite of multiplication, that's division. 275 divided by 25. And that's 11. Now, lastly, it says that it adds 2. So we need to subtract 2. Yes, the answer should be 9. 11 minus 2, that's 9. That should be the answer. Okay? So, any questions? Again, if to solve this kind of problems, you just need to do it backwards. Okay? Number 4. Again, thank you for sharing your answers on the chat box. Okay, the cost of a teddy bear is $200. If the market price is $240, what is the profit margin in percentage? So how do we know the profit margin? So we just subtract the market price by the cost. Okay, so 240 minus 200, that would be equal to 40, right? So this is the profit. Okay, someone said the answer is 20%, so let's check. Now, what percentage is 40 in $200? So that's how we know the profit margin. Okay, so 40, you simply divide it by the total cost. Okay, so 200. So let me write this profit margin. Margin is equal to profit all over the total cost. Okay, so the total cost here is 200, and then we had a profit of 40. So that's how we know the profit margin. So that should be equal to how much is this? 20%, right? Or yeah, 20%. 2 over 8, no, 1 over 5, right? That's 1 over 5 or 20%. Why not 40 over 240? Because again, we only need to have the total cost. The total cost is only 200, right? The market price is 240. Profit margin is all about your profit from the cost. So the total cost is 200. That's why we have a profit margin of profit all over total cost. Okay? 240 is the market price. That is not the cost of the teddy bear. Okay, so note this kind of wordings because this is the market price. This is not the cost. Okay, so this is the price wherein you sold the teddy bear. Okay, the cost of making a teddy bear is 200, and then you sold it for 240. So meaning your profit is equal to 240 minus 200. To get the profit margin, you need to have the profit all over the total cost. So the total cost is 200, right? So that's why we have 40 over 200 or 1 over 5 or 20%. And that should be the answer. Okay? So number 5. So this one is kind of tricky because it's kind of confusing, right? However, I think this will be easy if you know how to do it. Okay? So tens digit is written from 5 to correctly to 7 correctly. So what does that mean? Meaning, since we add two numbers, the total sum is increased by 20, right? So this total sum here is increased by 20 wrongly. Increased by 20 wrongly. Okay? So which means that the true sum or the correct sum would be 20 less than the sum given. So 74028 minus 20. Okay? Again, why did we subtract 20? Because we increased the total sum by 20 wrongly because we have 5 to 7 numbers, numbers tens digit is written from 5 correctly to 7 wrongly. Okay? Then we have the same number hundreds digit is written from 6 correctly to 2 wrongly. What does this What does this mean? Note that the number decreased, right? Meaning, again, the total sum was decreased by how many steps um did we do incorrectly? We have four, right? 6 to 2 is 4, right? Or the difference between 6 and 2 is 4. Meaning, we decreased the sum or the wrong sum or the total sum by 400 wrongly. So if we decreased by 400 wrongly, we need to add it by 400, right? Now, lastly, another number's units digit is written from 3 correctly to 6 wrongly. So again, the total sum is increased by 3, right? Because we have 3 to 6. So that means we increase um you the total sum by 3 wrongly. Increased by 3 wrongly. So since this is increased by 3 wrongly, we need to subtract by 3. And that should be your answer. Okay? So that's 23, right? Ano? Decrease pala to. This is decreased because we have 3 to 6. Sorry. No, wait. Am I correct? 5 to 7 wrongly. So we increase the sum by 20 wrongly. 6 to 2. Ah, yes, that's correct. Increase by 3. This is correct. No worries. So 7428 minus 23, that's equal to 7405 plus 400, and that should be the answer. So 7805. So any questions? So I think the answer on the given solution manual is 7825. I'm not wrong. Yes, 7825. So they just did an arithmetic mistake, I guess, because we need to consider this one here to be increased by 20 wrongly instead of having decreased by 20 wrongly. Okay. Yes, Miss Purple. Wait, you have a question?
The the answer on my answer sheet was 7805.
Oh, okay. So that's the correct answer. So on my end, the answer is 7825. So I think I got the incorrect 5. So anyway, this should be the answer, 7805. Can you show the last file, please? This one here. So thank you for that, Miss Purple Fate. So thank you for the clarification. Anyways, the answer is 7. So any questions regarding this problem? So number 6. Okay. So it takes A, B, and C 2, 4, and 6 days respectively to finish the job alone. So meaning the rate at which A can complete a job, so let's say 1 over A is equal to the rate at which A can complete a job is equal to 2, right? B is equal to 4, C is equal to 6. If 3 people work together, can they finish the job within 1 day? So how do we solve for rates again? So we need to take the reciprocal of every rate and then add them together. After that, take the sum and then reciprocate it to know what is the rate at which they can complete a job together. Okay? So how does that we How do we translate that into an equation? Again, take the reciprocal. You have 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/6. So reciprocate is, let's say you have 2, okay? To reciprocate it, you need to make it into a fraction. And then, how do we make that into fraction? You divide it by 1 or make the whole number to be on the denominator side. So instead of 2, so this can also be written by 2/1, right? So interchange the numerator and denominator. So that should be the reciprocal. Okay? So let's say we have 3/2. What is the reciprocal of 3/2? It stops screen sharing for me. Maybe it's because of your internet. I think on the others it's okay. Yes, the reciprocal of 3/2 is 2/3. So that's how you reciprocate a number. Okay? You just interchange the numerator and denominator. Okay? So for rates, again, we need to add the reciprocal of their corresponding rates. So since we have 2, 4, 6, so that should be equal to 1/2 plus 1/4 plus 1/6. That's equal to 12. This is 6, 3, 2. So that's 11/12. Now, note that this is the day, right? And then this is the work done, which means, again, to know if we are able to, or these three people can work together, if they can finish the job within 1 day, we need to reciprocate this sum here. So 12/11. Now, were they able to complete it in 1 day? 12/11 is equal to how much? 1 and 1/11, right? And then 1/11 is greater than 1, meaning A, B, and C can complete the job in 1 day. And that should be the answer. Okay? This is the number of work done, and then this is the day. What I meant is can't complete, cannot complete. They cannot complete. They can't complete the job. Sorry for that mispronunciation. It should be can't. Can't complete the job in 1 day. So the answer should be no. Okay? Yes. It's more than one, meaning the job will be done after 1 day. The problem asks for within 1 day. Okay? Does that clarify the question? Okay, so any more questions? If none, again, to solve for this kind of problem, take the rates and then take the sum of the rates, which is you will need to reciprocate every rates and then add them together, get the sum. After getting the sum, reciprocate the sum, check if the resulting reciprocal is within the conditions, okay? So for this one, since this is greater than 1, they can they cannot complete the job within 1 day. Okay. Number 7. So how about this one? So they have a common factor of 2.018, right? So we can factor this out. 2.018 times 51 plus, that's 11 plus 12 plus 26. So 2.018 times 100. So how do we multiply a decimal again and a whole number? So multiplying decimal and whole number goes like this. 2.018. Sorry for that interruption. So continuing, we have times 100. So you just multiply it directly. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 8, 1, 0, 2. So add them 0, 0, 8, 1, 0, 2. Now count how many decimals we have or decimal places we have. So we have 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then put a decimal in that place. And that should be the answer. 201.8. Yes, that's the correct answer. 201.8. So thank you for sharing your answer on the chat box. So any questions? So again, to multiply a whole number and a decimal, multiply it directly, and then after that, count how many decimal places you have. Put the decimal on the resulting, or put the number of decimal on the resulting product. Okay? So number 8. Find the value of 1 over 3 times 5 plus 1 over 5 times 7 plus that 1 over 21 times 23 plus 1 over 23 times 25 plus 1 over 25 times 27. So how do we solve for this again? If you remember it during the uh, lectures series, you need to do telescoping. So first, take the common factor on the numerator and then see if they have common difference between the denominator. Okay? So what is the common factor of the numerator? We have 1. Now, what is the common difference between the denominators? We have -2 or 2. This is 2 also. This is 2, 2, 2. So if they have common denominators, you can put that denominator into this. And then multiply it by the first term of the fraction, which is 1/3, and then subtract it by the last set of fraction, 1 over 27. And that should be the answer. 1/2, that's 9 minus 1, 27. 8 over 27 times 1/2. That should be equal to 4 over 27. That should be the answer. Yes, the answer is 4 over 27. Okay, so this is how you solve for this problem. Okay, first, see if they have common factors on the numerator, and then check if they have common difference between the denominator. Okay, so again, um, let me do it again. The first number, what name? 1/2. Okay, 1/2, right? Okay, so how did we arrive at 1/2 again? First, again, check if they have common numerator. If they have common numerator, take that numerator, and then the next step would be number 1. Okay, so I'll just go back to number 1 after this. So after that, check if they have common difference between the denominator. Okay, the common difference is 2, right? So copy that denominator, we have 1/2. The next, again, multiply it by the first term, which is 1/3. And then subtract it by the last term, which is 1 over 27. And you will arrive at the answer, which is this one. So I'll just go back to number 1 for a bit because someone asked for it. Should I explain this again or? do I need to, I'll just explain it fast or quick, okay? So AB is divisible by 8, right? So we have two-digit numbers, then we have these conditions, okay? Since this is divisible by 8, we just need to list all possible multiples of 8, right? So these are the multiples of 8. 16, 24, 32, 96, etc. Okay? Now, the second condition is if we interchange the tens and ones digit, the resulting number should be a prime number and it should be greater than 50. Okay? So if you see the common properties of a prime number, it should be an odd number, right? Except for 2. So except for 2, all prime numbers are almost um all prime numbers are except for 2, all prime numbers are odd numbers. So we just need to check the multiples where you have a tens digit which is an odd number. So in this case, you have 16, 32, 56, 72, and 96. And then we interchange them, check whether it is a prime number. So 61, 23, 65, 27, and 29. The only prime numbers among this is 61 and 23, right? 65 is not a prime, 27 also is not a prime, 69 is also not a prime. So we only have 61 and 23. Now, the problem specifically say that it is greater than 50. So since this is greater than 50, the only prime number that you can have is 61. So find the two-digit number AB, and it should be 16. And that should be the answer. Okay? So any more questions? 16. The answer should be 16 because we have AB here. The problem asked for AB, not BA. 61 is BA, right? 61 is BA because we already interchanged the tens and units digit. Okay? So number 9. Okay. Find the value of 1 times 2 plus 2 times 3 plus 3 times 4 plus 37 times 38 plus 37, 38 times 39 plus 39 times 40. So note that this expression here can be rewritten as this one here, right? 1 times 2 can be rewritten as 1 times 1 plus 1 or 1 squared plus 1. 2 times 3 can also be rewritten as 2 times 3 is equal to 2 times 2 plus 1 or 2 squared plus 2. 3 times 4 can also be rewritten as 3 times the quantity of 3 plus 1 or 3 squared plus 3 up until to 39 times 40 or 39 times 39 plus 1. Right? So someone answered 63960. So let's check if that's correct. So since we have this expression here, we can actually rewrite it as 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 39 squared, right? And then including this one here, plus 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 1. I know, 39, right? We already know the formula for the arithmetic sequence of square numbers. We also know the formula for arithmetic sequence or consecutive numbers, right? So what's the formula for square numbers again? Why is there number 4 but don't have 4 square? So we have 4 here. This 4 here is equal to 3 plus 1, right? 3 plus 1 is equal to 3 plus 1 plus 1. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. 4 plus 1 is equal to 6. 6 plus 1 is equal to 9. 9 plus 1 is equal to 12. 12 plus 1 is equal to 14. 14 plus 1 is equal to 16. 16 plus 1 is equal to 18. 18 plus 1 is equal to 20. 20 plus 1 is equal to 21. 21 plus 1 is equal to 22. 22 plus 1 is equal to 23. 23 plus 1 is equal to 24. 24 plus 1 is equal to 25. 25 plus 1 is equal to 26. 26 plus 1 is equal to 27. 27 plus 1 is equal to 28. 28 plus 1 is equal to 29. 29 plus 1 is equal to 30. 30 plus 1 is equal to 31. 31 plus 1 is equal to 32. 32 plus 1 is equal to 33. 33 plus 1 is equal to 34. 34 plus 1 is equal to 35. 35 plus 1 is equ Yes, that's correct. N times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 over 6. So that's the formula for the sequence of square numbers. So n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 all over 6, where n is the last term, right? So again, why did we have 4 here but don't have 4 squared? Because 4 is just equal to 3 plus 1. So the next term would look like this. So let me write. So this is for you to clear your misunderstanding. So 4 times 5 is equal to 4 times 4 plus 1 is equal to 4 squared. So distribute 4 plus 4. So that's where 4 will come in. The next term, let's say 5 times 6, right? The next term, 5 times 5 plus 1. So why did we have 5 plus 1? Because this is 6. Why did we have 5? This is 4 plus 1. Why did we have 3 here? This is 2 plus 1. Why did we have 1 plus 1 here? Because we have 2. Okay? Um, this is from the formula. You can actually derive this manually. However, that would be quite long.
You go.
So just remember this formula here for the sum of square numbers. So the formula is over 6 because let's check. The derivation for this is quite long, so you can check it in your YouTube. Yes, so always 6. If we have square here, it is always 6. Okay? So that only but this will only work if the sequence is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. So they are consecutive. However, if let's say 1 squared plus 3 squared, 5 squared, so those are odd numbers, right? And then um you square them. So they have different formula for that one. So I can't really remember the formula for 1 squared or for the odd numbers. However, they don't have the same formula. So the formula or this formula will only work for this one. Okay. So you can check it in your books how this is derived. This will be quite long, so I don't think we can cover it during our time. So yeah, we will just continue this one. For odd numbers, just add all numbers, then minus the even number. Yes, you can also do that, I think. However, you will need to consider 2 square. Yeah, you can do that, but say 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus 4 squared, right? So if the problem asks for 1 squared plus 3 squared, you need to subtract this. However, on longer terms, so let's say it continues to 251 squared, subtracting the even numbers would be quite long also. So there is a different formula for this one, if I'm not wrong. I can't really remember the formula for this one, so maybe next time I'll tell you. Okay. So we will just continue this one. So what's the formula for consecutive numbers with this one? We have n times n plus 1 all over 2. Okay? So where n again is the last term. So 39 times 40. This is 39 times 2, that's 78, plus 1, that's 79, all over 6, plus this is 39 times 40 all over 2. 20, 2, 13, 21. 1. So 13 times 20, that's equal to 260, right? 260 times 79 plus 39 times 20, 390 times 2, that's 780. What do you mean the square? So the square, again, the square went to this formula. Again, note that we can actually evaluate this using a formula, and then that formula is equal to this one here. So let's say if we add 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared plus, it would be equal to this formula here. Okay? That's why we don't need to use square anymore, because that would be quite long if we evaluate it one by one. So we just need to use this formula here. So 260 times 79. So let's multiply that. That's 0, 54, 9 times 2, 18, number 3, 0, 42, 14, 18. 0, 4, 5, 10, 2. Am I correct? Then we add 780. 2540 plus 780. That should be equal to 0, 2, 6, 3, 1, 21. And that should be the answer. 21, 320. Okay? Again, the square here, or to evaluate this expression here, 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared up until to 39 squared, we will need to use this formula here. N times n plus 1 times 2n plus 1 all over 6. Okay? That's why the square or the squares of the numbers is already not taken for consideration, because we already used the formula to solve for sequence that involves consecutive squares. Okay? So any more questions aside from that one? Okay, if none, we'll proceed to number 10. So find the value of 4 plus 7 plus 10. Yes, Mr. or it should be Mr. Tai Nikidam. You have a question? So find the value of 4 plus 7 plus 10 plus up until 100. So how do we solve for this kind of problem again? 33 times 104. So let's check if that's correct. Okay, note that we have a common difference of 3, right? Which makes this an arithmetic sequence. So how do we get the sum of arithmetic sequence again? So we have average times the number of terms, right? So the average is just equal to the last term plus the first term all over 2. Okay? And then the number of terms, we have the last term minus the first term all over the common difference plus 1. Okay? What's the last term here? Average number of term over 2. Yes, that's correct. So that's how you solve for the sum of arithmetic sequence. Okay? Just like what I have written here. So average, last plus first, we have 100 plus first, which is 4, all over 2, times the number of terms, which is equal to last 100 minus the first term, which is 4, all over the common difference. What is the common difference between them? We have 3, then plus 1. So 100 plus 4, that's 104, all over 2, times 96, all over 3, plus 1. This is equal to 52 times 32, plus 1. 52 times 33. That should be equal to 1716. And that should be the answer. Okay. So thank you for sharing your answers on the chat box and also the solution on the chat box. Okay. So any questions regarding this problem? So if none, we'll proceed to number 11. Find the value of 4 plus 16 plus 64. So as you can see, the number in every term multiplies by 4, right? By 4, by 4, by 4, by 4, by 4, right? So the missing number here should only be 256, if I'm not wrong, right? 64 times 4, that's 16, 1, 25, 256. Then if we multiply it by 4 again, it would result to 1024. Then 1024 times 4 would be 1496. And then 1496 times 4 would be 1634. Okay? So we already know the missing number, so we can add it directly, and that would result to 21844. Okay? So that's how you solve for this problem if you don't know how to solve it with a formula. Okay? So note that this is a geometric series, right? So earlier we had an arithmetic sequence. Now we had geometric. Why it is geometric? Because every term multiplies by the same multiplier. Okay? Every term multiplies by the same multiplier. In this case, the multiplier is 4. So how do we solve for the sum of a geometric series? So to solve for this one here, for the geometric series, for the sum, we need to use last term times the multiplier minus the first term all over multiplier minus 1. Okay? And that should be the formula for you to be able to get the sum of a geometric series or geometric sequence. Okay? So 16384 times 4 minus 4 all over 4 minus 1. So factor out 4 for us to be able to solve it easier. 16384 minus 1 all over 3. So 4/3 times 16383, right? Note that this is a multiple of 3. So we just need to divide it. 16383 divided by 3. That's 5, 15, 13, 4, 12, 6, 1. So 5, 4, 6, 1. Multiply 4 by 5461, that's 4, 24, 18, 21. And that should be the answer. So any more questions regarding this problem? So if none, we'll proceed to number 12. So for this one, there is a pattern, okay? So 1 is just equal to 1. 11 times 11 is equal to 121, right? 111 times 111 is equal to 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, that's correct. So based on this pattern, we can say that the next one here would be 1, 1, 1 times 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 3, 2, 1. And then the next one, 1, 1, 1, 1, 5 times 1, 1, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay? So meaning, since we have 9 numbers here, we can safely say that the answer should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that should be the answer. So note that this only works if they have the same number of 1, okay? So if let's say we have 11 times 111, that would not be equal to 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Okay? That is not the same. Okay? This only works if they have the same number of 1. Yes, ascending number first, then descending combined. What if the numbers of 1 is not the same? Yes, there is no, if they don't have the same number of 1, or numbers of 1 is not the same, you solve it manually. So for, let's say for this one, you solve it manually. 11 times 111, that's equal to 11 times 111. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 2, 1, right? Solve it manually. Uh, let's check if that's correct. Let's say 111 times 1111. And 111, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Okay. So if problems like this exist, let's say the other one is greater than 1, or um, the other number had 1 more than the other, it should be the same. However, there should be no middle number. So for this, so let's say we have this one here. We only have 4 and then 5. It should only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's say we have 8 for this one here and then 9 for the other one. There should be 9 here. It should only be have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then if, let's say they don't 2 less than, so I think for that one, you really need to do it manually. Okay. So 2 more than the other one, so you need to do it manually and vice versa. Okay. So any questions? So this pattern only works if they have the same number of 1. And then if the number of ones is less than less than 1 than the other one, you can have this one here, the pattern. The pattern for less than 1, we have 11 times 1, that's 1, 1, right? 11 times, I mean, 111 times 11, that's 1221. We have 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. If it's 2 greater, it is number that repeats 3 times, and 3 greater. Oh, can you share it on the, can you share it for everyone to see? So someone said, or Darrell said that if it's greater than 2, it has a number that repeats 3 times. And then if it has 1 more than 3, it repeats 4 times. And so on and so forth, I guess. So any questions? Any more questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 13. Oh, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1. And then 1, 2, 3, 3, 2. That's nice. So thank you for sharing that, Mr. Dara. So any more questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 13. Okay. Find the number of factors for 513. So how do we solve for the number of factors? First, we need to get the prime factors of 513 and then use the formula a plus 1 times b plus 1 times c plus 1 times up until to n plus 1, where a, b, and c up until to n are the exponents of the prime factors. Okay? So in this case, you have 513. This is divisible by 3, right? 5 plus 1 plus 3 is 9, so it is a multiple of 3, meaning it is divisible by 3. So that should be equal to 1, 7, 1, 3. That's equal to 5, 1, and again 3 again. That's equal to 17. So 513 is just equal to 3 squared, 3 cubed times 17. Ano? 20? 19. It's 19. Sorry, sorry. It's 19. It's 19. Wait, let's check. 513. Where did I go wrong? It should be 19. 3. This is 17, right? 51, 0, 3. So 171. 171 divided by 3. It's 5. 21, 7. Ah, it should be 7, 21, 57. Sorry. This should be 57. Sorry. Should not be 51. Be 19. Sorry, sorry. Should be 19. Okay. Now, again, to get the number of factors, so get the exponents of every prime factors. So we have 3 plus 1 times 1 plus 1. So 4 times 2, that's equal to 8. And that should be the answer. Yes, thank you for that clarification. It should be 171 divided by 3, it's 57. This should be 19. So any questions? The answer is 8. So thank you for sharing your answers in the chat box, everyone. Okay. You can also list the number of factors manually. However, that would be quite long. So it's better to do it this way. Okay. So number 14. How many simplified proper fraction? This should be proper fraction. Simplified positive proper fractions with denominator 71 is or are there. Okay. So the answer here is 70. Why 70? Because this is a prime number. So we just need to subtract 1. Okay. So we have 1 over 70. 2 over 70, 3 over 70, etc., 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 up until to 71 over 70. And that should be, not pala, not 1 over 70, 1 over 71, 2 over 71, 3 over 71, 4 over 71, up until to 70 over 71. So we have 70 simplified positive proper fractions. No. If the number is 73, so is 73 a prime number? I think so. It is a prime number, right? Yeah, I think this is a prime number. So if the problem asks for 73, we just need to subtract 1. So that should be 72. So this only works if it is a prime number. So if this is not a prime number, you will need to use Eulerian's quotient. So let's say we have 72. So how do we solve for the number of simplified fractions for this one? So first, get the prime factors of 72. So prime factors of 72, that would be equal to 2. Let's use 2 first. That's 36, right? 36 divided by 2, that's 18. Divide 2, that's 9, 3, 3. So we have 2 cubed and 3 squared. Okay? So using Eulerian's quotient to solve for number of factors, we have 72, okay, the original number, times 1 minus the prime factor, which is 2, 1/2, times 1 minus 1/3. Again, the prime factor. So 72 times 1/2 times 2/3. This is 6, 36, 3, 12. So 12 times 2, that's 24, right? And that should be the answer. 36, this is 3, 12. 12 times 2, that's 24. And that should be the answer. So this is if the problem is not a prime number. Okay. So let me rewrite this. If not prime number, prime, number times 1 minus 1 over A times 1 minus 1 over B times 1 minus 1 over N, where A and B up until to N are the prime factors. So A, B to N, prime factors. Okay, so that's how you solve for this kind of problem. Any questions? So if none, we'll have number 15, and then we have and then a short break. Okay. So number 15, the sum of positive numbers A and B is 600. A is 4 times of B. Find the value of B. So to solve for this, you just need to add 1 to 4 and then divide 600 by 5, and that should be the answer, 120. Okay? Or you can also do it in an algebraic way. A plus B, which is equal to 600. A is equal to 4B, right? So 4B plus B is equal to 600. 5B is equal to 600. B is equal to 120. So basically the same answer. Does it work for every number? So let's say this is 5 times. Again, you just need to add 1. 5 plus 1, that's equal to 6. So 600 divided by 6, that should be equal to 100. the answer would be 100. So if we use algebra, A is equal to 5B, 5B plus B is equal to 600. So that should be equal to 6B. B is equal to 100. So the same answer. Okay? Yes, it works for every number. Yes, if only this is the condition. Okay? So any questions? So if none, we will have a short break. Please be back at 10:11 a.m. Okay? Which number you want to for me to explain the story? Yes, sir, please. So for this kind of problem, okay, so if you have an appointment from 10 to or starting now, you can leave the meeting. We will send you the recording later so you can review it. So don't worry. So you can leave the meeting if you want, if you have an appointment. Okay? We will send you the recording later anyway, so don't worry. Okay, so number 16. We're back because it's already 10, 11. How many four-digit numbers that can be divisible by 3 and units? Digit 5 is are there. Okay? So note that the number should have a units digit of 5. Okay? Meaning, you can only have, so if we start by two-digit number, we just need to take the LCM of 3 and 5, that is 15, right? So we only need to have a units digit of 5. So how do we do that? We need to add 30. So that's 45, 75, 105, and etc. Right? Now, we need to get the largest number that is divisible by 15, and then it should have a units digit of 5, and also it should be a 4-digit number. So what is that number? So 999 divided by 15, that's equal to 666.6666, right? So we multiply 6666 by 15 and check if that is a number that has a units digit of 5. So 33, am I correct? 33, right? 666, that's 9990, right? So since this is a number that is not that does not have a unit digit of 5, we need to subtract it by 15. So 9975. That should be the maximum. Okay? Now to get the minimum, divide 999 by 15. That should be 66 also. So 66 times 15. So almost the same as this one. We have 990, right? Since we need to have 4-digit number, we need to add 15. 990 plus 15, that's 1005. Okay? So 1005, 1035, 1065, 1095, up until 29975. Right? So we need to know how many numbers are there starting from 1005 up until to 9975, right? So how do we do that? We need to get the number of terms. 9975 minus 1005 divided by 30 plus 1. So that should be the number of terms or the number of numbers that is divisible by 3, and then it has a units digit of 5. So 9970, no, 8970 divided by 30 plus 1. That's 299 plus 1 or 300. And that should be the answer. So any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 17. It's really the hard tricks in math. Yes, yes. So again, you need to consider this conditions, okay? Number 17. The sum of 7 consecutive numbers is 119. Find the middle number, okay? The middle number is just the average of this one here. So number 16. How did we get 15? Okay, so we arrive at 15 because this is the LCM of 3 and 5. That's 15, right? And then for us to have a units digit of 5 always, we need to add 30. Okay? That's why we have 15, 45, 75, 105. And then the problem only states 4-digit numbers. So first, we need to know the maximum number that is divisible by 15 that has a units digit of 5, and that is 9975. And then this is the minimum. Okay? And again, we have a common difference of 30. To get the number of terms, we have 300 as the answer. Okay. Next, the sum of consecutive numbers is 119. Find the middle number. So the middle number is just the average, right? Or we simply divide 119 by 7. So 119 divided by 7, that should be equal to 70. And that should be the answer. Okay? Middle number is just the average. So any questions with number 17? So if not, we'll proceed to number 18. So there are prime numbers. Their product is 130. So using prime factorization, we need 3 prime numbers, okay? So that should be 5, 26, 2, and 13. So we have 5 times 2 times 13. So which one is the largest? That should be 13. That should be the answer. Number 17. There must be 2. What do you mean? It's Kenzo. So, no more questions. So proceed to number 19. Okay. The sum in the area of 2 squares. Note that this is 2 squares with integral side. Okay, what is integral sides? The sides must be a whole number. Okay, so we have 2 squares. Well, what is the area of a square? That's s squared, right? So 2 squares would be s squared. So let's say the side of the first square is s. The second square would be a. So s squared plus a squared is equal to 149. Now, we only need to know numbers that would give us 149 as the sum when we add their squares. So what are those side lengths? We have 10 by 10, right? That's 100. And then 7 by 7, 149. So the answer should be 10. Number 20. Okay, note that this is exterior angles, right? So exterior angles of any polygon or sum of exterior angles of any polygon is always equal to 360. So that should be the answer. Okay, number 19. So again, sum of exterior angles of any polygon is always equal to 360. Okay, so that should be the answer, 360. Why did we arrive at 360? So at any point of any polygon, let's say this polygon here with a lot of sides, the outside angle would always result into a circle, right? So what is the angle of a circle, or the total angle of a circle? That should be 360. That's why we have an exterior angles of any polygon, or sum of exterior angles of any polygon will always be equal to 360. And that should be the answer. Okay? Number 21. The perimeter of a rectangle is 64. The value of its length and width are both integers. What is the maximum possible of its area? So to get the maximum possible value of its area, the length and width must be equal or close to each other. Okay? Value of length and width. Okay? So perimeter, what is the perimeter of a rectangle again? That's equal to 2 times L plus W, which is equal to perimeter. Perimeter is equal to 64. So 2 L plus W, that's 32 L plus W. Note that this is an even number. So this can be divided by 2. We can have 16 plus 16, right? Which means that we can have a rectangle with side lengths 16 and 16. So the area should be equal to 16 times 16 or 256. Yes, this is a special case because we know that a quadrilateral with the same sides is a square, right? However, rectangles can be a square, but a square cannot be a rectangle. So the answer is 256 again, because rectangles can be a square. So there's no need to um, overthink it. Okay. So any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 22. So we have a square. Okay. with side length 20, 20, 20, 20. So we need to draw the largest triangle. So how do we solve, or how do we draw a largest triangle? So simply divide it by 2 diagonally. Yes, this is grade 6. The breakup room? Really? Maybe they just, oh no, the breakup room is primary 6. Is it 200? So let's check if that's correct. Okay, anyway, so to have the largest triangle on a square, you just need to divide it diagonally. So it looks like this. Now we have the base and then the height with values 20 and 20. Okay, so area of the triangle is given by 1/2 BH. So what is the base? That's 20. The height is 20. 1/2 times 20 times 20. That's equal to 400 divided by 2. That's 200. And that should be the answer. Okay? Any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 23. The radius of semicircle is 21 cm. What is the area of the semicircle? What is a semicircle again? Semicircle is half of a circle. Okay? So we have a radius of 21. This is 21. This is also 21. Right? So how do we find the area of a semicircle? Since this is just half a circle, so we just need to get the half of an area of a circle. 1/2 times pi r squared. 1/2 pi is equal to 22/7. R squared is equal to 21 squared. That's 11/7. 21 times 21 is 3, right? 33 times 21. That's equal to 660 plus 33, right? 33 times 20 is equal to 660, and then we add 1, 33, that's 693. And that should be the answer. So you can't have an answer wherein you say, let's say, 201 something and then pi, because we have a value of pi here. Okay, so we can have a value that has a pi variable. Okay, because we have a value of pi here. Yes, 22/7 pi. No, 22/7 is already a fraction form of pi. Okay, 22/7 is fraction form of pi. Yes, the answer is 693. So if you manually solve for this, it would result to 3.1425 blah 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 blah, continuous number. I think the world record for the longest value of pi is around quadrillion numbers, if I'm not wrong. However, no, that's just a trivia that I know. And then they took it right now. I mean, this year. It should be continuous numbers. So there is no repeating numbers. So yeah, it's really hard to quantify pi. Okay. Yes, Miss Purple Fate, you have a question?
answer sheet there's no cm squared, but I wrote cm squared. Is that okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Oh,
Units will not be needed if you answer. Okay.
but if you want to specify if it's a percent, then you have to represent.
Yes, if the problem is specifically say that it needs to have percent, like for example the one in number 4, right? Or is it number 3? Yeah, number 4. The problem asks for percentage, right? In percentage. So that's why you need to have 20% as the answer instead of only 0.20. This is 0.20, right? And then we multiply it by 100 to get the percentage value. That's why we have 20% as the answer. Yes, you cannot put commas in the regular exam. However, don't worry. So the examiners will manually check your exams. So if you put units on there and then let's say the website mark it as wrong or a mistake, don't worry. The examiner will check it manually so that you will be able to have the correct answer. So I just answered 20. For number 4, it asks specifically for percentage, right? In percentage. That's why you need to use percent. Instead of only answering 20, you need to have 20% as the answer because it asks for in percentage. Can you use that instead for commas? Um, it's really risky to use dots because it may signify as 20.18. Is that answer a decimal or? Oh, okay. Now I understand. So some of the countries use decimal as a dot, right? So some countries use like let's say 20.5. Some countries use comma instead of period for decimals. So don't worry about that. Um, again, the examiner will check your um, papers manually. Yes, 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 yes. So don't worry if you use comma or dots for decimal points. So because the examiners will check it manually. Okay. So either you use comma for a dot for a decimal or you use period there. Don't worry about it. Yes, I know. Some countries use comma for decimal. Yeah. I just remember that kind of um, syntax. So thank you for reminding me for that. So yeah, don't worry about it. So number 24. Okay. So how do you solve for this one? So this one, you really need to know the postulate. I think it's a for, no, the theorem for this one. Okay. So the theorem for this one is that if you draw, let's say, a rectangle, if you draw a triangle inside or you have an inscribed triangle inside a rectangle, the sum of the areas of this area A and area B is equal to the area of the triangle. So area of triangle is equal to the sum of area of A and then area B. Okay? And for this one, we know that this is a triangle, right? So we can actually solve for the area of this one here. So let's say this is X. Okay? So area of triangle is just equal to 1. plus 30 plus x is equal to the area outside. 30 plus 5 plus 7, that's equal to 42 plus 26, 68 plus 4, 72. So x is then equal to 72 minus 31, which is equal to 41. You can also cross-check it using the other triangle. So the other triangle would be this one, right? So let's cross-check it. So the sum of this triangle here is equal to the sum outside. So 26 plus 5 plus x, let's say again, this is x, is equal to 30 plus 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 30. 31, 35, am I correct? 34, 31, 30 plus 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 30, okay. 72. This is 31 plus x. X is equal to 41. So the same. Yes, the answer is 41. Okay, again, I will explain it again. So this is the theorem, okay? If we inscribe a triangle inside a rectangle, okay? Let me draw it again. So we have an inscribed triangle, okay? The area of this triangle is equal to the sum of the area of the the area outside of it. So outside of this triangle, outside. So this is the area of outside of the triangle, right? Let's say area A and area B. Okay? So this is the area of the triangle. Area of the triangle is equal to the sum of the area outside of it. So outside of the triangle, we have area A, area B. So area of the triangle is equal to area A plus area B. So in this case, let's say we draw this triangle here. That's why we have 1 plus 30. The total area of this triangle is equal to the area outside of it. So 1 plus 30, let's say this is X, the shaded area, is equal to 26 plus 4 plus 30 plus 5 plus 7 plus, 26 plus 4 plus 30 plus 5 plus 7, which is equal to 72. Okay? So I will just rewrite this. 26 plus 4 plus 30 plus 5 plus 7. So this is the area outside of this triangle here. We have 4, 26, 30, 5, 7. So that should be equal to 72. 30 plus 1, that's 31. 72 minus 31, 41. To cross-check it, since there are two triangles, right, we can also do it this way. So let me erase the first one. We can also have this triangle here, right? So the total area of this triangle is equal to the area outside of it. 26 plus 5 plus x. That's 31 plus x. Outside, we have 30, 1, 4, 7, and 30. So 30 plus 1 plus 4 plus 7 plus 30, that's 72. X is equal to 41. And that should be the answer. Okay? So any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 25. Okay, so if Andy goes from point B to point A, each step can only move down or move left. How many ways is or are there? Okay, so how do we solve for this again? We need to write every nodes as one first. So 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. Okay? And then every intersection, you need to add them together. Okay? So we only need to move down and left, right? So if we move down and left, every intersection that has a number, you need to add it. Okay? So, so going downwards, you only have one way. Okay? And then going to the left, we have an intersection here. So we need to add them together. 1 plus 1, that's 2. Again, there is an intersection. 2 plus 1, that's 3. 3 plus 1, that's 4. Okay? Why did we arrive at 3 here? Because you already have 2 here. And then we have an intersection of 2 and 1. So 2 plus 1, that's 3. Again, why did we have 3 here? I mean 4 here. 3 plus 1, that's 4. Okay? Now, going to the left, again, we have copy 1 here because we don't have an intersection coming from the left, right? This one here, we just need to copy because we don't have an intersection coming from the left. So 1, we have an intersection coming from the right. So going to the left, 1 plus 2, that's 3. Let me put it here, 3. Again, we have an intersection coming from the right, going to the left. So that's 6. 6 plus 4, that's 10. Right? Again, we have an intersection. Now, we have an intersection coming from the right, going to the left. That's 2. 2 plus 3, that's 5. Again, we don't have an intersection coming from the right, going to the left here, so we just need to copy. That's 15. Okay? We have intersection coming from the right, going to the left, so 15 plus 10, let's see. I mean, 5 plus 10, that's 15. Then here, we have, again, intersection, 3. 3 plus 5, that's 8. 8 plus 5, that's 13. 13 plus 15, that's 28. And that should be the answer. Yes, the answer is 28. So any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 26. So for number 26, I prefer to use algebra here because it's easier to quantify. Okay. However, if you have different solutions for this one, like maybe a shortcut, you can use it. But it's better to recheck it using algebra so that you'll be able to be sure for your answer. Okay. So let's say the weight of an apple is equal to X weight of an apple. And then Y as the weight of a melon. Yes. I will show number 25 again after this. Okay. So someone answered 500 as the answer. So let's check that. Okay. So 4 apples and 3 melons is 1,700. So weight of apples, that's X, right? So 4X plus 3Y is equal to 1,700. Then 3 apples and 4 melons is 1,800. 3X plus 4Y is equal to 1,800. Solve for X and solve for Y. So how do we solve for X and Y? Using systems of equations, we can directly solve for X and Y. So multiply 3 here and then multiply 4 so that we will be able to eliminate X and then find the value of Y. Okay? So 12X plus 9Y is equal to 1,700. Yes, you have a question, Mr. Orville, or is it
Actually,
Miss?
there is another way.
Yes, yes.
Maybe not don't try multiply, but instead try to just add
So,
4x plus 3y and 2 with 3x plus 4y. It will result on 7x plus 7y. And this one, and you know,
okay, okay. So that's another way. So let's do it that way. Okay. So that you would be able to um okay. So I'm just using system of equation and then okay, so let's use that instead. Okay. So 7x plus 7y is equal to 35. So x plus y is equal to 500. Okay, so that's another way of solving it. Okay, that's again system of equation. So for the method that I have shown earlier, I will just show you that also because there are many ways to solve algebra, right? 3x plus 4y is equal to 1. So this is 4 and then this is 3. So 12x plus 9y is equal to 5,100. 12x plus 16y is equal to 7,200. And then we subtract them so that we'll be able to get the value of y. That's equal to negative 7y is equal to 2,100 negative, right? Y is equal to 300. Substitute the value of y into the first equation or second equation. The resulting value of x would be 200. So x plus y is equal to 500. So the same answer. You can use this method if you are not sure, or you can also use this method if you want. Okay? So any more questions? So if not, we'll proceed to number 27. Okay, so the best way to solve this is you will use Venn diagram. No, the 300 is only the value of y or the weight of the melon. So we need to find the value of weight of one apple and one melon. So that's why we need to find the value of the weight of the apple. So weight of the apple using the value of the weight of the melon, which is 300. So y is equal to 300, right? Substitute it in either equation 1 or equation 2. So 4x plus 3 times 300, that's 900, right? 1,700. So 4x is equal to 800. X is equal to 200. So 200 plus 300, that's equal to 500. That's why we have an answer of 500. Okay. Now, for this problem, it's better to use Venn diagram. So we have two different categories. We have basketball and volleyball. Okay. We have a total number of 44 students. 3 students do not like both ball games. So they are outside the two circles. We have 19 here and then 23 here. Okay. Now we need to find the value of this one here, or the intersection between um the students that likes basketball and then that likes volleyball. So how do we solve for that? So the total should be equal to 44 minus 3. So 19 plus 23 minus. Why did we minus? Because this is an intersection. So we need to subtract the number of students that likes both basketball and volleyball. So let's say this is x. So x is equal to 44 minus the number of students that don't like the either or neither basketball nor volleyball. So that's equal to 41. 42 minus x, negative x, 41 minus 42, x is equal to 1. And that should be the answer. Yes, the answer is 1. So thank you for sharing your answers in the chat box, everyone. Okay, number 28. If no more questions. So how about this one? This one is kind of tricky, right? If you don't know the formula, it would be quite hard. So remember this formula always. Theta is equal to 30h minus 5.5 m. I think there is a faster way. Just get 19 plus 23. Maybe you would get the answer there, but you don't need to divide it by 2. Why do you need to divide it by 2? 19 plus 23 minus 44 minus 4 minus 3. If that's the case, so let's just go back first. 19 plus 23 minus 41 over 2. 42 minus a fraction. I think there's no need to have this. You only need to have 44 minus 3. And that should be the easier way to find the answer. Okay, so anyways. Oh, okay. 43 over 41. So the answer here is 1. I'm just checking the solution given by the other student. I don't know how to pronounce his name or her name. So this should be 40. Anyways, the answer is still 1. So, but let's say we have 3 different sports. Will that still work? I don't think it will still work, right? Wherein you divide it by 3. So that's why you need to use this kind of method instead of that one. Anyways, we'll continue with this one. So remember this formula always if we are finding the earliest case of an angle between a time. Okay? Theta is the angle, H is the hour, and M is the minutes or the minute hand. Okay? There is actually a derivation for this, but it will take quite a time. So that's why I'll just show you the solution or the formula, and then it's on your own if you are curious how did it arrive to this kind of solution. Okay? So 5. It should be 5.5 m, sorry. It should be 5.5. 30h and 5.5 m. Okay. Now, we know that the time is between 4 and 5 p.m., meaning h here is equal to 4. And the theta here, since it is said that we need to form a right angle, so it should be 90, okay, is equal to 30 times 4 minus 5.5 m. Okay, 120, 90 minus 120, negative 5.5 m. So negative 30, negative 5.5 m. So m is equal to 5 and 5 over 11. So the time should be 4:05, 5 over 11 p.m. And that should be the answer. So we have a fraction because the minute hand revolves around the clock um, in a fractional way, meaning every tick, let's say every tick of the minute hand would result into an angle, right? So that's why we have 5.5 here. So the derivation is quite really long, so I don't really want to talk about it here because it's almost time. If you are curious about this formula, just you can search it in Google if you want. Okay. So I'm just saying that if you encounter this kind of problem, just remember this formula always. So the answer is 4:05, 5:11 p.m. because we have a minute that is equal to 5:11. Okay. Yes, you can do it. You can write 4 is to 5, 5:11. Don't write the PM. You can use that also. There's no need to put PM. So any questions? So if not, we'll proceed to number 29. Again, for me, it's better to use algebra here. X plus Y. So let's say X is the number of $5 coin and Y is the number of $10 coin. Is equal to 28. So Andy has a total number of 28 coins. So 5x plus 10y is equal to 185. Okay? So we need to find the number of $5 coin. So how do we solve for that? So make this in terms of x. So y is equal to 28 minus x. Equation 3. This is equation 1, equation 2, right? So 3 root 2, that would be equal to 5x plus 10 times 28 minus x is equal to 185. 5x plus 280 minus 10x is equal to 185. Negative 5x, 185 minus 280, that's equal to 95. Negative 95, right? Negative 5x, x is equal to 19. And that should be the answer. So any questions? So if none, we'll proceed to number 30. So, okay. How many ways are there in total? So we need to choose 3 boys and 2 girls, right? So how do we solve for that? We will use combination. So 10, since there are 10 boys, we need to choose 3. So 10C3 times, again, we need to choose 2 girls out of 4 girls. So 4C2. And that should be the answer. So what is the combination formula again? NCR, which is equal to n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. So 10C3 is equal to 10 factorial all over 10 minus 3 factorial 3 factorial. So 10 factorial is equal to 10 times 9 times 7 times, we will stop at 10 times 8 times 7 factorial. 7 factorial times 3 factorial. Cancel 7 factorial. We would be left with 3 times 2. 10 times 9 times 8 all over 3 times 2 is 3. This is 4. 120. Right? Now, we need to have 4C2 here. 4C2 is equal to 4 factorial all over 4 minus 2 factorial times 2 factorial. 4 times 3 times 2 factorial all over 2 factorial, 2 factorial. 4 times 3, that's 6. 12 divided by 2, that's 6. So 6 times 120, or 6 times 120 is equal to 720. And that should be the answer. Okay, so thank you for sharing your answers in the chat box, everyone. So yeah, any more questions or clarifications, especially on the previous numbers? Yes, the answer here is 720. 720. 6 times 120. Yes, you can leave now if you want. So, if no more questions, thank you for listening, everyone. Good luck on your exam or the competition exam. So, yeah. See you when I see you, and have a great day. So, I'll just go back for number 24 since someone asked for it. So, you can leave the meeting now. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you po.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Goodbye and thank you po.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye,
Goodbye.
teacher.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Yes,
Peace.
sir. Bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you again. We will send this to you later. Don't worry. So we will send everything later. Okay? No problem.
Send by what, teacher?
Yes, yes. We will send everything to your email later. No problem.
Email? Bye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye. You have to wait the honors exam because you well, that's well. Yes, I think so. 27. To get your score, yeah, you will just wait for an email to be sent to you after the competition.